All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. Four reviews up this week, and yeah, they're all reviews. So starting out, we have Afterlove EP from the creator of Coffee Talk and what comes after. Comes a slice of life adventure set in a modern day Jakarta about love, loss, and finding your own way forward. Step into the shoes of Rama, a young musician struggling to move on with life after the death of his girlfriend, Sinta. I think it's Sinta. Like, uh, so yeah, I think that provides a good overview of what this game is narratively. What it is mechanically is described as four parts visual novel and one part rhythm game. I think is a good way of putting it. Um, a bit of a strange choice for visual novel in that it's side view, as in you actually control Rama on the streets of Jakarta and you can move him.
Mm.
Doesn't really do much. Like uh, like you can talk to some of the people on the streets and you'll get messages. Like Rama seems to know a lot of people. Like, but I don't know, it's a bit of a weird call for something that's a good chunk of visual novel. Like, and I guess I'll state this here and now. I think I would have preferred it had it gone all in on visual novel. Um,
Mm.
that is to say, I found the weakest part. Like, I get it. I get why there are rhythm game sections in this because it's a story about a guy in a band, and that's kind of the go-to game gamification bit for notes and things of that nature. But here's the thing: if I'm engaged in actual gameplay segments, um, it's a bit of a, I don't want to say catch 22, maybe a paradox. I'm not exactly sure what the word is, but okay. If I'm busy trying to pay attention to the notes, I'm not paying attention to the song or the lyrics.
Mm.
Like, and I think that was the more important call to make here.
They could have just
And,
made the music parts like an animatic thing, like
right.
other music-based visual novels do, instead of trying to make you play through it.
Yeah. And I suppose, in fairness, you don't have to pass the rhythm sections. Like, if you fail, you don't have to restart. So, yeah, theoretically, you can not play well, but, that still has issues. First of all, if you miss the notes, you'll be off key. You know, it'll, you won't be playing the notes right, which, okay, accurate, but it's also distracting, as
Mm.
you'd expect. So once again, you're not really absorbing the song. You're busy dealing with button prompts and the pass fail states that come with those.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't like. Once again, I understand where the developer was coming from on this, but ultimately, I think this should have been 86th, penalty or no penalty, whatever, because um, you know my experiences was I was too focused on the Okay, got to make sure I hit the A button instead of the X button, and so on and so forth, instead of, absorbing the songs and once again, the songs are extra special important here because it's a song about, this is a story about a band
Mm-hmm.
and a guy who's writing songs to get over the death of his significant girlfriend.
And it looks
Right?
like the songs aren't in English as well.
They are.
Oh, they are? All
No,
right.
no. Sorry, the voice acting is in English.
Ah.
The songs are in Indonesian.
So
Um,
specifically for us, that's even more of a problem because at least if they were
yes,
also in English, we could at least absorb it that way. But since they're in Indonesian and none of us,
yeah,
speak that.
yeah. They're subtitled. Yeah. I suppose. Also, for the record, the practice sessions. I will admit was a nice touch, but still, the practice sessions are the instrumental versions of the songs. But when you get to the actual playing, it's the actual song with the lyrics.
Mm,
Like, once again, it's a keen detail, but it doesn't mitigate the problem I had here. And that is, if I'm supposed to be paying attention to the song, I need to pay attention to the song.
mm-hmm.
Not paying attention to a video game. And yeah,
Right.
it's doubly so when you don't have something in your own language. Like, so once again, it's it's not a huge problem,
Mm. And I imagine
but it's
somebody whose Indonesian's their first language, this would be far less of a problem than it would be for us.
but a but I'd say at the very least a notification noting that you don't need to bother with the playing of notes would be necessary,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is it doesn't tell you that these you don't have to play the notes,
Mm-hmm. Or just
or
give us an option to
yeah,
choose not to partake in the rhythm game and it make it go away.
like, once again, I'm not playing fucking Guitar Hero here,
Mm-hmm.
or Rock Band. Um, you know, this is like the inverse of that. If I'm being honest. Um, Outside of that, as far as the visual novel components, yeah, they worked well enough. As far as the type of visual novel, this is I didn't get through the entire thing because big surprise, this takes over the course of a month, and that's quite a lot of visual novel. But then again, short visual novels are a lot rarer than the big ones,
Mm-hmm.
we have found. But it's like your choices matter. There are hidden memories to collect, and there's even romance options built in, which feels a bit weird given the overall subject matter. But
Yeah.
and you get a choice of like three of the ladies. It's not overt gift giving choice like the sexy time visual novels. It's more built into the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could tell Rama was one of the ladies was interested in him, for example, just from
Mm-hmm.
the dialogue. So kudos there. And as far as like the actual story and such, Well, that's the most subjective part of this game. I found it to be one of the best visual novels I've played in a good long while. Um, you know, granted that's a lot of having to what we play visual novel wise tends to be from Manga Gamer.
Mm.
Um, and no offense to them, but um, they have published visual novels that are on this level, like The House in Fata Morgana, and so on and so forth. But 9 times out of 10, when we get a visual novel from them, it's porn.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then 4 out of those 10 times are games that are actually banned on Twitch entirely.
Yes. So, no, this is very emotionally charged writing, but thankfully it's not. Thankfully Rama's not like a high schooler or anything like that. Like, I'm not like it's centered around somebody who's like 20 something. So I'm not, we're not dealing with fucking high school bullshit,
Yeah,
which
we're
can
dealing
be,
with an actual young adult instead of,
yes,
a teenager that they're calling a young adult.
yes. And, we're dealing like, we're dealing with actual adult problems, not just like young adult problems, but, therapy is talked about here. Like dealing with loss, trauma, all of that. Very heady, weighty themes, and I think it handles it rather well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just, it's a very melancholy tale, for the most part. It's not dour all the time. Like, there will be levity, there will be lighthearted moments, but overall, this is a heavy visual novel.
Mm.
Um, uh, Also, right, to get back to the voice acting, that is done exclusively by the voice of Cinta, who is now a literal voice in your head.
Fine.
Yes. Maybe magic, maybe mundane. Don't know.
Maybe magic, maybe a mental illness. That's up for you to decide.
Well, I'm honestly not sure about that.
I know, that's kind of why I went for that one.
Well, I mean, that's what maybe magic, maybe mundane means
Mm.
here. Let's see. I suppose the only problem mechanically I had with the game is might have been just my copy, but it had this weird bug where Rama would just start walking to the right randomly.
Did you have a controller plugged in or something
Yeah,
like that? It
yes,
could
and
have been that.
well, even weirder, it would stop when I like hold like put press an input on the analog stick, and specifically the analog stick, not the D-pad.
You might be having starts of controller drift.
Poss- Possibly, I couldn't say.
Mm.
Like I said, it's
If
just
you get
something.
a chance before I cut this, try playing it without the controller plugged in and see if it still does it.
Well, I've already deleted it off my hard
Ah,
drive,
fair
so
enough.
like, granted, Gothic 2 is giving me kind of the same problem, but that's because Gothic 2 is jank as fuck.
Mm.
Like, that's that's neither here nor there. Anyway, subjective parts aside, definitely one of the best games I've played all year. It's still young, but um, very good game. Like, on the scale of arbitrariness, it's kind of 9 out of 10 level here, which isn't easy for a thing to get.
Mm-hmm. And it's looking like the only thing that's holding it back is just the music aspect of it, really.
Yeah.
Like making you have to play the musical parts.
As I covered.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so in terms of pricing, the game clocks in at $20, which is perfectly fine for a visual novel, especially one that's offering music and voice acting, even if it's not fully voice acted.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's the soundtrack collection at $7, art book at $10. Interesting, because I suppose, thinking about it, I wasn't a big fan of the art style. It's a bit too rough for my tastes. Like, there was a certain amateur quality that I didn't care for. Anyway, and they've got the EGM soundtrack collection. That's the not actual songs part. It's stuff, which is $7. So total package here is $23.97, which is in terms of the DLC. I'm like, considering how musically oriented this thing is, I'd say the soundtrack collections are probably worth it. The art book, less so. Still, this is definitely one that's aiming to be on my best of list at the end of the year. And yeah, I think that'll about do it here. Any other questions, comments, or concerns about Afterlove EP?
I think I'm good.
I am satisfied.
All right. All right, so that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty will be reviewing Mad Experiments 2 Escape Room.